What's up, gang? We're about to go to, where are we going? The New York Historical to see an exhibition called the Gay Harlem Renaissance. I think that's right. So, I just need to put my coat on, and we're out. Yeah. Now we're taking this party out to the streets. Let's go.
Wonder, 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 wonder.
I found my people and my place. Seriously. The top one is what it looks like outside today. Okay, this part of the exhibition really connected some dots for me. So Gladys Bentley, whose photo you'll see in a little bit, she was a blues singer and a pianist, and she would perform in the speakeasies in Harlem, particularly gay ones, and she would wear men's clothing, and her chorus behind her would be drag queens. And so this is kind of what she became known for, and it's so fascinating to me because when I really first started drawing, I did this virtual drawing club one night, and of all the reference photos, this was the only one of a black person, and so I just picked it because it resonated me for that reason and because she was in menswear. But I didn't have any of the history, and so as I learned more about her, I just loved that that was a part of my origin art story. I thought this map was so cool, and it really reminded me of the fact that, like, when I lived in Harlem, my friends and I would frequent the same places, literally the same brunch restaurants, the same bars, and there's something really cool about knowing that even though the neighborhood has changed a ton, the rituals and the ways that we sort of commune and convene stayed the same. And I also think just like the importance of doing cultural work and providing spaces, especially like third spaces for people to come and spend their time. Literally, how else will we survive? And this was just a reminder that that is such important work. It's not extra or frivolous. It is exactly what we need in order to be able to take care of ourselves and show up for each other, and also regulate our nervous systems. Like, just dance it out, okay? I feel like as a teenager, I would hear like my great aunts and my grandmother talk about rent parties. And so this section was just really cool and interesting to me to give like a visual context to those conversations and memories, but also a reminder that like, hey, the bills have to get paid, so we might as well make a time of it and like throw a party. Like seeing these things for like beer whiz parties or a cocktail party, I thought that was so cool. So this section was called Spectacles in Color, and I think it's so fascinating because it moves into the era of the Great Depression and is basically focused on how creativity and art making were at an all-time high in spite of that depression, and like some of the art that came out of that time and sort of represented what people were experiencing. Like, oh, times are bad, I should go make something. And it's like, yes, that's literally what I'm telling myself all the time. I don't feel good. Let me go make something. I should have my hand moving across some kind of paper, canvas, something in order to release this other energy that is sort of around me. So yeah, that really hit home for me. And honestly, it's why I love going to the museum, because it's a consistent reminder of what's most important in my practice, especially those things that I often forget when I get in my head and things start swirling around and I'm not thinking of my highest good or speaking to myself in the most positive way. I really liked how for this section on blues clubs and blues music in general, they had like this lounge sort of space recreated. And I think having just like produced spaces to add to the narrative that the art is telling is something that's really missing from live art experiences. And it's something that I'm keeping in mind for my first solo exhibition. Just what do I want the space to look like? How can the space sort of complement the work? And obviously like not take away from it, but really support the story that I think that the work tells, and make people feel comfortable both in the space and engaging with the art and about the art with other people. Because it's just better when you can talk to somebody about like why something is resonating with you. So I'm really excited for that. I thoroughly enjoyed the exhibition, and I'm reminded of the importance of the things we often deprioritize, like creating, connecting, and communing with each other. So I wrapped up this exhibit, and then I managed to stumble upon a few other exhibitions that they had. Let's go check them out. So for this collection of art, I don't recall seeing a title or kind of explanation for how these pieces are related, but one, I love a round canvas, so this really caught my attention, and I just love the composition and the subject and color as well. And then the brushwork here and in the next piece are just so much to be learned from the ways that different artists kind of apply their paint. The sweater in this painting, I love that the artist didn't go into too much detail all over the sweater. I need to get better about just like leaving something to the imagination, but that's a conversation for another day. And I really felt like the size of the canvas really like lended itself to the composition and just making her feel more punk because the canvas was so like long and she's kind of like looking down at us. I don't know. I really like that part. So, and it was at this specific moment that I don't know why it never occurred to me that the New York Historical Society and Museum might have an exhibit about New York. I don't know why that surprised me. Nevertheless, this exhibition, like, I feel like I'm the perfect audience for it. It was so cool to see the variety of ways in which people have tried to visually sort of nail down how they see New York. So many different approaches, so many different like subjects. Oh my gosh, I would love to go back. Looking at it even back in the video, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I often question my love for New York, like, am I romanticizing this or was this real? And I think it's both, but I'm reminded that it's okay. Like, that's fine. I get to decide what I obsess over, what I love, what I am an expert in. And I want to be an expert at art and obsess over the things that I love. And I love that city. So yeah, I was super excited to see this exhibition and really just reminded that my style and my tastes are what matter. Like, you can have the same subject matter as someone else and your approach to it is so different because you see that same thing so differently. The composition of this and like the size of the canvas, once again, I just love it. So good. I love both of these. So cool. Look at the reflection of the person, not of me. Like, what? At first glance, I thought this piece showed the motion of the woman jumping from land to the river, but then I realized it's actually an unfinished painting of 5 people, and I cracked up at myself because I really had made up a whole narrative, and the painting struck me for a completely different reason than the artist intended. And the idea that our unfinished works are still valuable and resonant is kind of reassuring, but also a little hard for me to accept. So I'm going to work on that. But I did appreciate that message in the fact that just seeing an unfinished painting in a museum is like counter to what you would expect. And that was just a great reminder to not take any of this too seriously, but to care. Anyway, that's all I got for now. If you liked this video, definitely check out my Studio Museum in Harlem video. I'll link it here. And also, if you like my vibe, my style, any of that, check out my website. I have art prints available. And in the meantime, I'll be back next Tuesday. All right. Bye.